Okay, so in this problem, we're being asked to find the marginal profit. Now, marginal profit is code word. Marginal is code word for derivative. So all they're really saying here is find the profit function, then find its derivative. And marginal is how we interpret the answer that we get, but it is still, the process is the same as finding the derivative. So we need to say, what is profit? Well, profit equals revenue minus cost. So do we have a revenue function? Well, yes, we do. Here's our revenue function. And then do we have a cost function? Well, yes, we do. Here's our cost function. And so what we're going to do is simply set this up as profit equals negative q cubed e to the negative 0.9 q. I don't like that q. There we go. That's our revenue minus our cost, which is 5 raised to the negative q squared minus 7q. And now we take the derivative of this. So you can see this problem is disguised as a word problem to make it look much more complicated than it actually is. Now, the derivative itself is rather complicated, so let's go through this. Now, looking at this derivative, I'm going to notice I have something with our variable q times something with our variable q. So this is a product rule. So going through this product rule, we're going to say, all right, well, the derivative of p is p prime. Now, I'm going to do the derivative of the first factor. So the derivative of negative q cubed would be negative 3q squared. Leave the e to the negative 0.9 q alone. Now we say plus, but our q cubed has a negative built into it, so we're going to flip that to a minus q cubed. Now I do the derivative of e to the stuff. Now the derivative of e to the stuff is e to the stuff, e to the negative 0.9 q times the natural log of the base, which is e, but the natural log of e is just 1, so we just don't write it. So now we did the e, but we haven't done the derivative of the argument. So we have to do times for the chain rule times the derivative of the argument. So negative 0.9 times q would end up just being negative 0.9. Simple. Now we move along. We're done with that product rule. So we're going to say minus. Now we're going to move on to our other term, which we can see is an exponential function. It's 5 raised to the stuff. So the rule on this is the derivative of an exponential function. It's the same as e. It's 5 raised to the stuff times the natural log of the base. Now, the e was natural log of e, so that simplified and just made 1. Natural log of 5 does not simplify, so we just need to leave that as times. Okay. So now we did the 5. Now we have to still do the derivative of the argument. So we're kind of zooming in on just that exponent and say, what's the derivative of negative q squared minus 7q? So it's just a power rule. So negative q squared would be negative 2q. And then the derivative of negative 7q would be negative 7. And now we have completed our antiderivative. And if your teacher requires you to simplify, there's not a lot that you can do here, but you could always do a few little touch-ups, such as the negative 0.9 could be written in the front to make it a positive, and you could potentially factor out the e. Nope, you can't because there's no e in this term. Yeah, there's really not a lot that you can do to simplify. All right, so hope this helps.